Hello! Today we are hanging out with some assholes and possibly some non-assholes on the subreddit, Am I the Asshole? Let's get started. Am I the asshole because I refuse to go and visit my special needs stepsister in the hospital even though she's very sick? I low-key hate her. I'm 15 years old. I have a stepsister who is a couple years older than me, and she is really seriously disabled. I'm not sure what's wrong with her because no one ever wants to discuss it with me, but she's nonverbal, breaks her bones a lot, and has severe epilepsy and will have many fitting episodes. She also doesn't understand stuff. That's probably the easiest way to put it. She's just a human body with nothing inside. She's my stepmom's daughter. My stepmom married my dad 3 years ago, and they dated only for a year before that. I don't know my stepmom very well, and I don't really get on with her. We are respectful to each other, but I'm basically living with strangers because she's so busy with her daughter and my dad. I am always on my own, and I used to hate it, but now I'm kind of used to it. Ever since they moved in to live with us, life has changed drastically for me, because all they care about now revolves around my stepsister. That's fine, I get it, but both my stepmom and my dad ask me to do things for my stepsister that I don't want to do and I resent doing. Stuff like staying home when I want to go to the mall with my friends. They're disappointed that I don't get her anything for her birthday with very limited funds, mind you, etc. My own mom passed away when I was small, so I can't go and stay anywhere else, and all in all, I'm just a lot more angry than I used to be because they seem really disappointed whenever I say I don't want to do anything with her. Even stuff like feeding her. Like, I don't want to sit there feeding her banana pudding and wiping her drool. I didn't ask for this. Anyway, she recently fell a few days ago and had a seizure for 8 minutes. She was taken to the hospital. The doctors want to keep her there and look after her. I don't want to go and visit her. I remember seeing my mom in the hospital before she died, and I just hate hospitals, and I sort of hate my stepsister. And I just don't want to go and visit someone who doesn't even know I'm there. My stepmom is really upset with me, and so is my dad. They haven't yelled at me or anything, but they are both being super cold towards me because I don't want to visit. My grandma, who lives in Canada, called me up out of the blue and told me it was okay and I don't need to force myself to go to the hospital, so I'm assuming my dad has told her that I'm refusing to go. He keeps pleading with me, but I keep telling him I'm not doing it. I told him hospitals remind me of mom, and he got even more upset and said my stepsister might die and that I need to stop being so selfish towards my stepmom. I just want to know what Reddit thinks because half of my friends think I should go and the other half think I'm justified in saying no. This next story is about a guy who is sleeping naked on top of the covers to teach his flatmate's girlfriend a lesson. New to Reddit, please bear with me. So I, 21-year-old guy, live with my childhood best friend, 22-year-old, also a guy, and I've done so for 2 years now. Up until last week, things were perfect between us. However, he recently got a new girlfriend, 23-year-old lady, and she honestly seems absolutely great, except for one thing. She seemingly has a complete aversion to knocking. She and I have quite a lot in common, and I actually like spending time with her. However, it bugs the hell out of me when she just barges into my room without knocking first. Now, she's never walked in on me doing anything untoward. I'm usually just chilling on my bed or studying at my desk. However, on at least 7 separate occasions now, she's done it first thing in the morning to ask if I want coffee. I sleep naked. Every time prior to the last one, I've been under the covers and she hasn't seen anything. I always point out that she could have and she just giggles and says, "But I didn't." When she stayed over last week in order to make my point, I intentionally slept on top of the covers. Sure enough, she barges in at 7 a.m., begins to ask if I want coffee, and sees my you-know-what. She immediately backed out of the room and didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. My mate later pulled me aside and said I was bang out of order, accused me of deliberately exposing myself, and pointed out that I'd threatened to do it before. I literally just said, "Okay, but what if I had no covers and you saw everything before?" They're now framing this to others that I'm some sort of sick creep who intentionally got naked and lay in wait for her because that's how I get my rocks off, and I'm kind of seeing how it came off that way. Am I the asshole for doing this? On to the next story. Am I the asshole for wearing the joke bikini my friend got me? So it was my birthday a couple months ago, had a party, got some gifts. My friend Mandy for me a super cute bikini. I liked it, said thanks. She had ripped the tags off, but whatever. Anyway, went to the community pool with my roommate, wore bikini, got in the water. Roommate immediately is like, girl. I look and see that the bikini is now kinda see-through. Ha ha ha, good joke, Mandy. Anyway, Mandy invited me over to her place to hang out with her and her boyfriend and a few others. Most leave and we're still hanging out. I'm like, hey, what if we get in your hot tub? I go change after them. And we meet her boyfriend in the hot tub and she's getting new drinks. I hop in. Immediately, he's looking at my chest. I pretend I don't notice and just make small talk. She comes out a few minutes after and she just looks in shock. Eventually gets in. Is that the one I bought? Yeah, I love it. I wear it everywhere. Make up some stuff about how I wore it to the beach, some party with lots of guys, etc. And she's just like, oh. We're in the hot tub for 20-30 minutes. Eventually get out and change. She approached me after and was like, I'm sorry, thought you'd notice, but it's kinda see-through. I'm like, yeah, I know. Why'd you buy me ducking the see-through bathing suit? She's like, it was a joke. Wait, you knew? So you just spent the last 30 minutes flashing my boyfriend on purpose? I replied, I'm just wearing my birthday gift from you. Anyway, am I the asshole? The title of the next story is, am I the asshole for telling my daughter she cannot introduce her African-American boyfriend to her grandparents? Let me just preface this by saying, I have absolutely no problem with interracial relationships. Now that the air is clear, let me continue. My daughter, Anna, has recently started to date an African-American man, Jamal. While I'm not exactly what you would refer to as liberal, he's a nice young man, and as long as my daughter is happy, I'm happy. The problem is, Anna is rather naive about the community she lives in, while her friends are quite content to see a relationship like hers. More than a few tongues are wagging in the community, and a few people have privately expressed their concern to me. As I said, I have no problem with mixed relationships, and I've set them straight, but I am painfully aware of how these matters are viewed by certain segments of the population. My parents are planning to come and stay with us for a week, and Anna expressed a desire to introduce Jamal to them now that things are getting more serious between the two of them. I told her in no uncertain terms that this wasn't going to happen. I may have no problem with Jamal, but they absolutely will, and even when the relationship ends, they won't forget it. They might even go as far to cut her off entirely. Anna was extremely upset by this and implied I was a racist and more concerned with what my parents think than how she feels. As I said, I know my parents. They simply aren't okay with mixed relationships, and if Anna were to bring Jamal over, even as a friend, they would be furious at both her and me. Anna is currently staying with Jamal and doesn't want to speak with me right now. My wife stands by me, given that she knows very well how my parents are. They had a problem with her for months over the length of her skirt she wore when I introduced her to them, for Christ's sake. But a close friend I confided in told me that I have behaved like an ass and that I needed to focus more on my daughter than pleasing my parents. No advice needed, but I have to know, have I been an ass? The final story for the day is, am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend's daughter she's not my daughter, so don't expect me to pay? Me and Diamara, 12-year-old female, have had a rough summer. She's been more defiant than usual. I've been dating her mom, Mara, 30-year-old female, for 2 years now. 9 months ago, they moved in with me. Maple, 33-year-old male. Both Dio and Mara have an on-again, off-again relationship with Dio's dad, Dionysus. He's pretty much never paid child support, comes and goes as he pleases into Dio's life. Typical shitty-ass part-time dad. I've tried to fill the dad role in her life while still understanding boundaries, taking things slow, etc. This summer, Dionysus decides he wants to be a real dad and takes Dio in for a month. Good for him, not my business, and Mara agrees. When Dio came back home because school started, she was a lot different. Really mean to me, very dismissive. A few days ago, she got caught shoplifting at the mall. Security took her in and then called Mara, who didn't answer, then called Dionysus, who didn't answer, and finally me. I answered. They told me I had to come pick her up or she'll be handed over to juvie. I didn't say anything to her while I picked her up. I apologized to security, apologized to the store. I even tipped the security guards plus the store employees because it's fucked up that they had to deal with that. I assured them Dio would be punished appropriately. I'm speaking to her in a strong, affirmative voice while we're in the car. Not yelling, but in a fatherly tone, I suppose. I'm telling her how fucked up it is to steal and how I don't fuck with thieves and how I absolutely don't voluntarily fuck with any kind of police, so I don't appreciate any of this, nor will I accept it in my house. She snaps back that I'm not her dad, so don't ever tell her what to do. From now on, if I want to tell her something, I need to clear it with her real father first. That killed my soul. For the past year or so, I've treated her as my own daughter. I've paid for their housing, I've paid for her mom's car, her schooling, her food, everything. Her bio dad dropped a $100 check off one time in the past year. The fucking check bounced, so I had to call him and get cash brought over. I told Mara about all of this. She was appalled at what Dio said, but she never made Dio apologize because she's not wrong, you're not her dad. A couple of days later, Dio asked me for some money to pay for her uniform accessory she needs for a sport that she's involved in. I say, go ask your dad. She scoffs and says her dad doesn't have the money for it, so I have to pay for it. I tell her, I'm not her dad, so don't ever tell me what I have to pay for. She cried to Mara, who tells me I'm not being an adult about the situation. Mind you, I never received an apology or a thanks for our entire previous situation. Mara says Dio is a kid and that I need to stop acting like a kid too. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this video, click on that like button and be sure to leave a comment and let us know which subreddits you would like to see a video of, and please be sure to subscribe. If you are still in the mood for more Reddit videos, click on one of the videos on the screen right now. They are really good, trust me.